Welcome to your transit forecast. Thank you very much for your patience. Um, I'm glad we did this now that the moon is actually in Cancer. So now you're going through a Christos activation. In fact, I'm being guided to share an article link with you that actually aligns with what happens every month the moon goes through your zodiac sign in Cancer. So let me actually get that right now. There we go, full detail. So you can definitely check this out. Every time the moon is in Cancer, this will apply. And I will attach this to the links that you will gain. So when you get this recording, all these links right here, the Ultimate Manifestation playlist, I definitely recommend that. Here's a 50% hookup code whenever you want another reading. All this will be right here. All right. So that being said, looking forward to the next 6 months ahead. They are definitely glorious, and I feel like they're going to impact you very significantly. We know you are late Sagittarius rising, embodiment of the creator. I will attach alien construct. I like how you are a vessel of Jupiter. I didn't notice that last time. There's no alien construct in the article for that, but it does count as one. The author did mention that whenever she updates it, she will include that. So it is a big deal. The King of the Gods in Leo, you're going to have that return 2027. But you are an instrument of Neptune. So this Neptunian instrument alien aspect, I will just kind of put here again. That being said, woo, we know that being born in 79 is definitely a very, relevant point for those born after 75 and before 85, because Saturn, of course, was in Cancer to Virgo. Now Saturn is in Pisces. So specific to 79, 80, 77, 78, you guys have had your opposition. And with Uranus, where's Uranus? Scorpio, where is it? It's in Taurus. This is unique to just you guys. You guys have had the Uranus opposition and the Saturn opposition, which is a point of harvest. Kanye West is one of my favorite examples. Even President Trump, who has Saturn in Cancer, of course, we're Gemini, so that kind of flavors why people kind of hate Gemini. But like that being said, we're gonna say some things. When Saturn was in Capricorn with Trump, that was when he quote unquote got canceled with the elections. Boom, came back quick. Truth Social, once it went to the eighth, boom. Kanye West, when Saturn was in Aquarius, that was when he got quote unquote canceled. Boom, bot parlor. When it was in the eighth, I wanted to just kind of put the distinction. On the surface, it looks like they lost. Nope, they completed their karma. It was actually good for them, even though, the media try to make it look different. So that doesn't mean everyone that goes to the opposition gets canceled, but we do see the 180-degree completion of karma that for you began 2008-ish. We can even literally go back to when that most recent return was 2006. It was in Leo. So we can say 2008. Yeah, that was 07. 08, it was like 17 degrees. So like 07 was when you had the return. So since 2007, boom, 180 degrees, you're harvesting that because you activated the Saturn return 07. And then by like 2014, 15, boom, it was over your rising. You started to embody this karma. The seeds started to grow through the ground. Now you're harvesting. Why is this significant for you? You have, of course, 79 is unique in that the North Node is on Saturn. So you guys were born with the authority, Saturn, of destiny. This is like matter manipulation, analysis in a level that can actually warp reality. And it's connected with your legacy, your MC, your destiny, your karma, and your legacy are all together. And that has a lot of implications towards everything you're meant to change in society and to change regarding how you bring up real social dynamics that you analyze can with that change can bring greater help to society. Now you're harvesting this analysis in the form of beliefs that not only secure a much more powerful comfort zone and can bring in elements of real estate moving forward and home, working from home, but will begin to actively harvest the karma you have developed for 17 years since 2007. Okay. Legitimate, like literally 17 from 2007 plus 17 is 2024. Boom. So that is an attainment. Congrats. Why is that even more significant? You see the North Node here? Well, look, this is what it's all leading up to. Once we come into March and April, would you look at that? North Node Saturn. North Node Saturn Pisces, you have North Node Saturn Virgo. So that is huge. All right. It's going to really mark major change collectively and universally across the world. Everything that everyone believes is going to be flipped on its head because we're ending one old world cycle and we're getting ready to initiate another one. Within the next couple of years, we're coming into space tourism, age reversing technology, all sorts of stuff that will ruin and benefit this world. New levels, new levels, AI, all that stuff. It's over. But it's beginning at the same time. That being said, we're here. We're alive. We also want to take into account Uranus. Uranus and Scorpio, I'm going to do a documentary on. Y'all are weird in the purest way. And I mean supernatural. Like, even having Chiron opposite here gives y'all a natural healing ability that's claircognizantly tied in psychoanalytically. So y'all just know where to touch people to heal them. Presence, physically, you know what I mean? Now that Uranus is in Taurus, it's harvesting the unconventional element of how you can process natural energy extra dimensionally. Because you can't see Uranus, it's frequencies. It's the higher causal mind ruled by Aquarius of the causal realm. So this is very significant. 2008 was when Uranus entered Aquarius. And that 2008 period to like 2013, 2012 was where you began to integrate what you were born with here. So Uranus being opposite here near your sixth house, innovating your lifestyle moving forward, is very significant. We also want to take into account, on top of course, the Saturn opposition, we also want to take into account 6 months ago, where, of course, we did have a very significant quadruple conjunction here in Taurus. Okay. A few days before that, we actually had Jupiter conjunct the Sun. And the reason why that's very important is this conjuncted Uranus, Venus, Jupiter. Well, Venus caught up to the Sun, but this was so close to your sixth house. This represented a brand new cycle of how you're getting ready to innovate your entire life. The way moving forward that you will live your life is going to be automated. And this isn't coming out of nowhere. Your entire life took to this point. All right. The unconscious habits and beliefs that kind of influence who you're around and the supernatural, unique quality of your spirituality, you've now unconventionally manifested the behavior and routine that can actually ground this. This now takes a lot of phenomena that was impossible to put into words, and it's tangible now. So this evolution has now, since then, come into the seventh house portion of Gemini and is preparing to evolve your partnerships. It's literally evolving your heart. After the retrograde, it's going to, by June, right? June of next year is where we're going to have that conjunction. Oh, this is yearly. June of next year is where we're going to have that conjunction, which is going to be, non-ironically, on your sun. That, I think, is the most significant aspect to look forward to coming into next year. All right. Specifically, okay, I thought it was earlier in June, but specifically we want to look at, of course, the end of June. All right. So specifically with this new moon right here, 3 degrees, right? Just want to show you, boom, that's going to be right next to your sun. We don't have a sun conjunct Jupiter in Gemini, which I feel a certain way about because we had it in Aries, we had it in Taurus, but we just gonna skip through Gemini. Okay. But we do have it in Cancer, which, hey, I can't, that's a whole new wave, my friend. So this is what we've been waiting for, is Gemini and Cancer. The waters of the previous wave have receded, and it's putting us in a spot where it's like, what's next? What's next? This is what's next, my friend. Splash! Where's Uranus going to be? Getting ready to go in Gemini. Where's Pluto in Aquarius? This is in Aries. This is the next era. All right. This is the next era. 20-year transit. This is going to run through the end of the decade. 2031, it's in Cancer. That's another one you should look forward to. Saturn and Uranus will be on your signs. It's all preparing you for that. And that is the integration towards a new society. There's so much new themes being built right now. It'll be integrated worldwide through the end of the decade. Boom. Then, of course, you know, in between that point, over the next 6 months is going to prepare for this next cycle. So why is that significant? Because the previous 6 months is what set us up for everything. And let me show you that as well. The previous 6 months ago was not only when we had the Taurus conjunction, but we also have to take into account the Saturn conjunction, right? Where we had Sun, Saturn. So that's what really kicked off this karmic cycle for you, for all of us. And for you, that was in the third house portion of your fourth house, changing your comfort zone around the beliefs of your own mindset. And now, of course, as a late Sagittarius rising, it's going to trail the meaning of each house. But that's interesting to see how your concluding activation, which as a Cancer, you're going to be aware of as harvest. Something to keep in mind. So all these things we activated in Pisces and even in Aquarius, right? With Mars and Venus in Pisces, the eclipse in Aries, and of course the Taurus energy that I spoke of, we have already begun to harvest since Virgo, Libra, Leo with the Pluto, Virgo with Saturn, Libra with the eclipse, and now Scorpio is going to be significant because once we come into that opposition here, right, we are going to have that opposition between Uranus. The full moon next month is going to be peak. And that's going to fulfill the conjunction we had in your sixth by now making you aware of not only how you're transforming old beliefs that no longer apply to your whole life up until now, because you've now created this brand new way of life that you're going to be harvesting. So since May, you sowed the seeds to this. August, they broke through the ground. This is the first time you're going to harvest this. But unlike everyone else, you actually have the Uranus opposition. So this is going to make way for an unconventional sense of so much innovation that you will naturally experience through how much more supercharged your natural healing abilities are. We also want to look at Pluto, that of course will enter into Aquarius and begin trining your Mars, intensifying the supernatural quality with which takes into account the magical nature of how you take action and the beautiful nature of how your words capture poetry, the beauty of your words, that your heart has quintessentially evolved and Jupiter has evolved this action ability. Mars has gone through the return. Mars is going to reach Leo, get around the Jupiter and Mercury, retrograde back into Cancer. Okay. So by this point here, where we will see, of course, coming out of Libra season with the square here, that you're having from the end of Cap, the beginning of your second to the beginning of the 11th, is now, of course, completing January 29th, where you did have, of course, this conjunction with Jupiter. And it's just always nice to show these things. So we had that 29-degree conjunction at the end of your second house. This is what awakened at the final level since 2008, where you began these successive series of conjunctions, this full-on awakening of your wealth and value based on your natal chart, because you've progressed past since this point. So it's just opening up how much more money you can make. And now ever since January 21st, we had Leo season where we had the opposition. You began to harvest. July 23rd, and since July 23rd to now, boom, 29, we're complete. Everything moving forward back until January 21st is going to be the completion and review. And this is helping you be aware of how you're breaking through social circles that now adjust to this awakened sense of your value you are more in control of. after Saturn has gained integrity and organization through these points. All right. So there's so much in your chart that is very relevant to being activated, even moving forward, where now completion will entail this part, and boom, we activate here again. But instead of 29 degrees, it's going to be an aqua, which is going to be furthering your second. And over the next 20 years, you're going to be awakening more supernatural quality of manifestation. Hence the ultimate manifestation playlist that once you practice, and you already do, you'll just see more flawless results because you've unlocked more of your energy to align with this effortlessly and releasing subconscious blocks that get in the way. So now that we're coming out of Libra season, Scorpio season is going to really just transform the wisdom you psychoanalyze, who socially you want around you. Of course, as a Cancer sun, this is your point of creativity through Libra, which adjusted and balanced of course, the foundation of what you feel comfortable moving forward in success and with who. Because Scorpio marks your 12th house, this is going to transform who you are influenced and influenced with these unconscious habits. And that's what's really just going to set up what I feel is important relative to the Uranus opposition. I feel like that's the most important part. We're going to have the trinus Saturn, we're going to have Mars enter Leo, but most importantly, we will have that full moon that will bring about this opposition, which is going to be your 12th and 6th house. So we definitely want to look at November, of course, November 15th. November 15th on that full moon, and the new moon 2 weeks from then, like November 1st. October 31st to November 15th are going to be very significant. November 15th specifically is going to begin to harvest that and now transform all of those beliefs. Now, of course, moving forward, that's going to set up Sagittarius season, which will be on your rising. All right. The 12th house portion of Sagittarius season is going to apply this wisdom and fully change the vision relative to your thoughts around how you apply this quality of lifestyle. Because these thoughts will next year go over your 7th, and the thoughts that are changing your perspective around how you're harvesting this growth will transcend your awareness and then move forward to activate a new evolution of your awareness, as we've stated, the end of June 2025. And then boom, apply this change of how you connect with others and feel into this evolutionary direction before 2027 and 2025, well, really 2027 with the nodes, bring this, of course, Jupiter return. And to give you insight on what that looks like, we will have, of course, in 2027, this, or well, looks like 2026. So I don't know why I was saying 2027. 2026 is actually when we're going to have the North Node Pluto and the Jupiter South Node. All right, so all of this is getting ready for this next cycle for you. You want to see 2024 as the transition out of this old cycle to step you into this new cycle. Sagittarius season is unique because remember, in May, we had Jupiter conjunct Uranus in the sun. And by the time we actually step into Sagittarius season here, that's what's now going to apply this transformation of energy and wisdom. First of all, Mercury is going to retrograde, and this is going to reevaluate your brain processing the vision of who you are and how you believe in a new version of yourself. Then the sun is going to make itself aware of the harvest of this relative to 6 months ago when we had that conjunction in Taurus. Okay, so this is the first time we're harvesting it since late May, June. And that's where, personally, that's going to bring a very magical element in the 12th of transcending next to Neptune. One, how you've evolved your clairvoyant vision, right? I've shared dreams with you in it. And that was around the time you were opening up about psychic experiences with me. But I know you held back a lot because I think you didn't want to sound weird. And this is what's going to really bring much more comfort in having trust in what you see, knowing that other people just may not be at that level. And maybe you may not have had the right words to communicate it. Jupiter is expanding your vocabulary around how you communicate to others. So December 6th, very significant. And we can even bring into account that new moon that will happen relative to that, which is going to be somewhere at before the sun meets Mercury retrograde on the 1st of December. We're going to be having new moons at the 1st of every month for a few months. So that is also going to be, the beginning of December is going to be very significant. All right. Then we're going to fast forward to Capricorn. Capricorn is where we're fully in your first house, and it's getting ready to direct the integrity of your value that you embody. This is going to be opposite your sun. So you're going to harvest your solar return. All right. And this is what's going to have you embody the integrity you hold space with, that you're aware in your partnerships with other people. Okay. It's going to sextile Uranus coming into, post the new moon. So that new moon date, of course, is going to be significant in activating, of course, this original direction that you apply this change. So by Sagittarius season, you're going to see into the meaning of everything you activated in Pisces season, 270 degrees, and you're going to change your perspective and move in that direction Capricorn season. All right. We also want to take into account that during this period, Mars will retrograde. So the actions that you are transforming and are passionate in taking towards others, you will begin to reevaluate in light of new information and development, how you feel about it. This is what's going to bring us into 2 weeks from then, where we have the full moon with Mars retrograde. All this is significant because during those periods, Mars will oppose Pluto, but this time in Aquarius. So this is resetting our footing relative to how we maneuver during this period, aka these periods. January 13th as such will be significant because this is going to be from your 2nd to 8th house, focusing a lot more on the actual value you'll be manifesting attached to your identity, and now where you feel you can invest this value in. By this point, you've seen everything you need to see. And once we step into Aquarius, that's going to now open up knowledge of everything you don't know right now. Also, it's going to kick in this very significant Pluto conjunction that occurring in the 2nd house portion will really account for a more supernatural, advanced way to effortlessly manifest. We want to look at how this conjunction will immediately align with Mars in Gemini so that it can also prepare you to immediately act off of your thoughts with now this added supernatural core source of knowledge. So whereas before you take these enlightened actions, you're going to be aware of knowing what to do. This is what to do. This is knowing what to do. All right. With of course the extreme awakening of this social intensification, and now further intensifies how you take what to do and how you do it socially. All right. I hope I'm not losing you in jargon. Please feel free to listen to this as many times to gain over the next 6 months insight. But yeah, relative to Libra season right now, the Aquarius, this is going to be very significant. And this is where we're also going to see the nodes get ready to leave Aries and go into your 4th house ruled by Pisces. It's in the 4th house right now, but the actions that have resituated the creativity around your comfort zone, you're now going to change your beliefs relative to what you've done through October and April of 2024, respectively. All right. And that's what brings us to, I think, the most important transit of next year, one of the most, and that's going to be the eclipse that we will have February 28th, coming into March. Neptune, North Node, Mercury, Moon, Saturn, and the Sun, all in Pisces. The end of this, which is around that 4th house region. And that eclipse is going to be so significant. One, unlike for everyone, where it's going to change what we all believe, and it's a rabbit hole into this next world era. For you, it's signaling more harvest and completion. It is quite literally the opposite of what you're destined to achieve. And so this is redefining the comfort zone that will, over the next few years, come back around. Because in 9 years from that date, North Node will be Virgo. And in 17 years, Saturn will be in Virgo, right? So this is just going to resituate this comfort zone that over the rest of the decade and into the next decade, you will take this comfort zone of belief and form of and change society with the new generation that of course is going to grow older throughout the rest of, the periods, the next of time. Okay. But that's very significant. As a Cancer sun, of course, you're going to look up into changing your third eye. This is going to unlock more mastery of your third eye relative to the analytical expression of your psychic abilities. We see this makes a 64-degree angle, right? 65 to 5 plus 9 is 4 extra degrees, 64. So it opens up, even though actually the sun makes, let me reverse that. The sun actually makes a 300-degree angle. So 300 minus 5 is going to be 294, 96, 200. 296-degree angle before the 300. So that means the sun was conjunct Saturn and went all the way around. And before it conjuncted again, boom, you were born. So this is actually more of a completion angle that will make you more aware in Pisces of how you are not only able to control seeing beyond reality, this is going to resituate a new comfort zone around your own extrasensory perception and the abilities you can unlock through this as well. This is going to change perspective drastically. Jupiter is going to be direct, Mars is going to be direct, and that of course leads to taking this change of belief and moving in that direction in Aries. All right. Mercury is going to retrograde and basically reevaluate everything you believe and now how you take action moving forward. This, of course, in squaring your sun is going to give you an awareness of completion of everything you've done since July. And of course, in this portion of your fourth, fifth house, really take action over what you believe. Your comfort zone has changed and your what you believe is home to you, and now move in that direction to develop more creativity. And that's the perks of having a late house. I'm using the equal sign system, of course. The Placidus may show differing degrees, but this really just going to enlighten, of course, post Jupiter, how you're getting ready to prepare for this next splash that's going to happen in June. That's what leads back to Taurus. And as we can see with the new moon incorporating Uranus, it's going to revisit what we had harvested in November and now have you move forward with this level of innovation now that Uranus is proper in your sixth house. And in taking that into account, that's going to not only make, I would say, the full moon significant, just like in Scorpio season, but subsequently when you actually activate this, remember the last time we did this was closer to last year, boom, that conjunction right here, where last year in 2024, we did that, right? Boom. We're going to do it again, but this time Jupiter is going to be in Gemini, Neptune's going to be in Aries, Pluto's going to be in Aqua, and Mars now, by this time near your moon, is going to have you transform how creatively you deal with other people. So this is going to be a very important conjunction that will once again continue to innovate your sixth house. Once it gets into Gemini, it's going to be so much more magical, but this is innovating the grounded quality, everything that's tangible as a grounded footing or a ground cord before we get electric. All right. So yeah, that is in a nutshell what you could look forward to over the next, of course, 6 months. By the time we come into Gemini, we're squaring the nodes, and that, of course, leads us back to the Jupiter Sun conjunction, King Kunzing Pluto, that will get ready through you to evolve and to step into this new wave. All right. So what we really want to highlight, I did breeze through minor transits, but what I wanted us to look at was Saturn. I wanted to look at Uranus. I wanted to look at how this is going to cross through your rising. I wanted to look at how Jupiter is preparing to evolve your partnerships, because since 2019, late 2019 coming into 2020, that was when you initially began this first house chapter. Since 6 years from now, you're finally harvesting it as soon as it goes through the MC. Then when it is in the 10th, your completed evolution, you started there. But as your sun, 2012, 2013 was when you started that, and you've done 12 years worth of evolution to activate that again. So this is how we blend different perspectives of harvest and evolution, so that even though even though you're harvesting relative to your rising, your harvest is an activation. And this is how we can blend both of those. So you get to feel literally best of both worlds. All of this is preparing to bring these outer planets to begin a brand new integration of a new society. And you're going to play your part post Saturn return. Now that you've completed most of your karma, you're completing or harvesting most of your karma. All right. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions, if you want any more insight. I think one thing to definitely keep in mind, I'm keeping this abstract so it could apply to a lot, but given that the sun will transit from your 10th to about your 5th, given the outer planet placements, this is going to conclude old world cycles. It's a good period of release. Everything you've activated at the beginning of the year is harvesting. So there's nothing for you to do. I would say really until July, right? It's not, you don't really have to do anything until June 24th. You're going to do a lot, but just know everything you're doing is preparing you for this next launch. Right? So you may be releasing a lot more with Jupiter behind your sun, and everything you're releasing, just know it's leading into that beginning. Especially coming through the end of the year, beginning of the year, this is going to resituate and redefine the integrity with which you carry yourself through others, as it's opposite 7th house to your sun. And that's going to prepare you for the eclipse in March. That's going to change the way you believe forever and take into account 17 years worth of karmic growth. The integrity you've had to look out for society, you're harvesting relative to your own comfort, and how that comes back to literally pay you. You stay blessed as always, and until next time.